Hello and welcome. You're watching This is Exclusive with me, Shavinson. We're coming to you live from outside the Parliament here in the national capital. This afternoon, a major security breach was reported. 4 intruders were nabbed by the Delhi police. 2 managed to enter the Lok Sabha. In fact, they were present at the well of the Lok Sabha, sending the security agencies into a tizzy. It now turns out that this was a pre-planned conspiracy. Over the last few hours, questioning is already taking place. Total number of people that are under the scanner are 6. We're going to get you all the details of the investigation that has been carried out. How exactly did the breach really take place? All this and much more in this edition of This is Exclusive. But up first, these are the headlines we are tracking for you at this hour. Unidentified man storms into Lok Sabha during the proceedings from the visitors' gallery. Four detained after security breach in Parliament. Police say interrogation underway. Sources suggest police probing terror linked to Parliament security breach. Delhi Police Commissioner, Head of Security and CRPF DG holds meet with Home Secretary. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla says security breach won't deter the spirit of the House. Government calls for all-party meeting today after security breach in Parliament premises. Starting this edition with some breaking news now coming in. We're getting you full details of the security review that was done just a short while back. An all-party meeting was called roughly around 4 o'clock this evening. This was chaired by the Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla. What we're given to understand is the parliamentarians have essentially demanded a full security review. In fact, they also say that this is a new parliament which certainly requires cutting-edge technology to ensure that all parliamentarians are safe. This also assumes significance given the fact that this happens on the very day when India saw that dastardly attack taking place in the year 2001 when Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists stormed inside the parliament. And that scar still remains fresh in the minds of most of the parliamentarians. They say that how exactly could this breach really take place? Now it turns out from the investigation that has been carried out so far that roughly about 6 people are now under the scanner of the Delhi police. What turns out from the investigation is 1, the very fact that this appears to be pre-planned in the fact that they've been able to somehow convince the parliamentarian, that is BJP parliamentarian Pratap Shimha, it was he whose office had basically issued the pass. What is very important to point out here is that at least two of them who managed to enter the parliament premises, and 2 more, before I take you through more details, 2 others were basically nabbed here. Let me just quickly take you through what you see right now. These are the images that are coming in of the area that has been cordoned off, because 2 of the others who were present outside while 2 were inside, it is here they opened the metal canister, resulting in smoke billowing out. A same sort of image that we saw inside the parliament. What became even more abundant, or rather far more concerning for the security agencies, is the fact that one of the intruders managed to jump inside the well of the Lok Sabha. In fact, that is where they were nabbed by the parliamentarians, 2 with whom we we spoke to. In the course of this broadcast, we're going to put out the account put forth by the eyewitnesses. We'll also see if we can go across to our reporters on the ground, and perhaps if Abhishek, our senior executive editor, could also join us on this broadcast, who's getting us the full details of the investigation that has been carried out and the security review that is being done. Let me just also show you some of the images that are coming in from inside the parliament. As you can see, these boxes that have been brought out. We've had the forensic team also coming in. The forensic team, they basically carried out the investigation a short while back when also we got you those images of pouches being taken out by the forensic department. What's important to point out here is that the investigation is still underway. We'll get you more details in a short while from now. Let's see if we can go across to our reporters, Piyush Ori, who's joining us from the Parliament Street Police Station, where the investigation still continues. Let me also bring in Harsha right now. In fact, Harsha was actually present when this incident took place inside the parliament. In fact, she happens to be one of the first reporters who were present at the canopy where the intruders were nabbed, brought in, and the initial questioning actually took place. Harsha, you were present there. This happened roughly around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Help our viewers understand what really happened this afternoon, which is now being touted as a major security breach.
So, Shravan, we have got to know that this was a deliberate planning, and this is not a sudden thing which has happened. This is what the parliamentarians have also been stating. Exactly at 1:30, when we were outside Parliament, we were interviewing some of the politicians, and that time only suddenly there were 2 to 3 intruders. First they started sloganeering, chanting, and protesting outside Parliament, the place where you are standing outside Transport Bhavan. And suddenly, after half an hour during the Lok Sabha proceeding, the 4 people who were sitting in the visitors gallery watching the proceedings of the Lok Sabha, 2 of them jumped from the visitors gallery to one of the benches, the 14th bench they jumped on, and continuously they were leaping from one row to another to moving towards the well. And at that time, Hanuman Beniwal was just standing up in the 0 hour to present his questions. It happened at that very time when suddenly all the members of parliament heard the sound of jumps and they got confused exactly what happened. It was that time when Kiran Kher, she was the first member of parliament, Shravan, who rushed out of Lok Sabha, screaming out loudly. And that was the time when the marshal who were deployed outside Lok Sabha, they suddenly came inside. But before marshal could take any action, several members of parliamentarians from Danish Sharif, from Maluk Nagar to Hanuman Beniwal, all of them nabbed the intruders, the infiltrators, and while they caught and were thrashing the intruders were continuously sloganeering, and they were stating that our motive is achieved now. So that clearly means that that this was a deliberate planning. This was not a sudden thing which happened, and that is the reason why security breach and the concern of security is continuously being raised by parliamentarians. Let me tell you, Shravan, and our viewers, that the meeting of speaker with all the floor leaders went on for almost 1 hour, and several concerns were voiced by the leaders of the opposition, by the floor leaders, and they're continuously stating that in the old parliament building, there was 3-level security. Before, visitor used to go to the visitor gallery to watch the proceeding. But in this new parliament building, there's no level of security. There's just one security when you enter from Makardwar and go towards the visitor gallery. Therefore, the entire security should be heightened inside new parliament building. That's a major concern which has been voiced today by the parliamentarians, and the Speaker has assured for the full investigation and also to issue a circular today in the evening. Back to you.
Well, thank you very much, Harsha, for getting us the latest details. We'll try and go across to our senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, who's going to join us on the phone line. But before I do that, just a quick check of what we know so far. Let's put this into perspective for all our viewers who are tuning in right now. As far as where did this incident happen? On my right-hand side is the parliament, the new parliament as well as the old parliament. That's right on the right-hand side. Can I just ask my camera person to just quickly take you through? That's the entry for the visitors. What you can see right now, as people are now basically coming out, that's the very place from where you have the visitors going in after a thorough check. Let's not forget that there are about 5 layers of security check that is essentially done before they manage to go to the visitors gallery. And this is also another significant location as far as today is concerned, given the fact that 2 of them were actually outside, and this is where they tried to open the metal canister too. That is the reason why, if you see, this area has been completely cordoned off. Those marks that you see right now on the floor is basically markings that have been done by the forensic team earlier in the day. So this was the very place where you had at least 2 of them who were present, and they were nabbed by the security that is outside. You do have the Delhi police which manages the security of the parliament outside. You have a different warden watch inside the parliament too. It's a mix of paramilitary. Let me also bring in my colleague and our senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, who's getting us the latest details. Abhishek, help us understand. It's now abundantly clear that this was a pre-planned conspiracy. Attempts were actually made to befriend the BJP parliamentarian and his office members. It turns out that they did actually secure the visitors pass after the recommendation came in from the parliamentarian's office. What more are you picking up? As of now, 6 people are under the scanner.
This mischief both inside and outside the parliament, and there are, it seems, antecedents of these people having connected themselves with earlier protests. So there is this element of urban Naxals also coming out, Shawan. I would wager that the investigation would go in that direction, because I have spoken to a couple of contacts and they say that this seems to be the case, though as of now officially that's something which is not being said. So as I say, this is the direction in which it's moving. Officially it's not being said. 6 of the 6, 2 are officially shown as arrested, 2 others are detained, and search for 2 is going on, including Lalit Jha, at whose residence in Gurugram the 6 had converged, and in fact 4 of them had stayed and carried out the planning and conspiracy. And the planning itself went on for about 3 or 4 months, where you rightly mentioned they were connecting with the office of Pratap Simha, the Mysuru MP, through Manoranjan, who happens to be from Mysuru himself. And then they were seen to be converging, and they have carried out this incident today inside and outside.
Well, thank you very much, Abhishek, for getting us the latest details. What we are now going to do is piece together what really happened inside the parliament. We spoke to scores of parliamentarians who were present at that point in time. And viewers, it's important to understand that the first intruder who actually jumped inside the well of the Lok Sabha when the proceedings were basically underway, it was the parliamentarians who immediately acted upon it. It was the parliamentarians who actually nabbed him, and the moment they nabbed him, he did actually bend down and took out that metal canister which was hidden inside the shoe, and thereafter smoke started billowing out. NDRF says that with that smoke billowing out, it could lead to some sort of a breathing problem. But having said that, these are matters that the police is going to look into. The forensic team is already working in. We have spoken to scores of parliamentarians understanding what really happened at 1 o'clock this afternoon, which undoubtedly is a major security breach. Listen in to what the parliamentarians had to tell my colleague Harsha, who spoke to them.
आखिरकार पूरा मामला क्या था? आप मौजूद थे अंदर?
देखिए, जो जहाँ पे हम लोगों की सीट है वहाँ के ऊपर से बहुत धड़ाम देसी की आवाज आई, तो हमें लगा कोई गिर गया। तो उधर देखा तो एक और कूदा है, और जैसे ही वहाँ से उनकी तरफ देख रहे तो जहाँ से निकलते हैं या जहाँ से भाग सकते थे वहाँ कर नहीं आए। सीट के ऊपर से जंप जैसे ही तीसरी बार जंप मारा तो हम 6-7 MP भागे, तो उन्हें जूता निकाला, तो हम हल्का सा झटका सा लगा कि भाई क्या निकाल रहा है, तो पर उसको फिर पकड़ लिया आगे से हनुमान बेनीवाल ने। पीछे
कौन से 3-4 MP थे जिन्होंने पकड़ा इंट्रूडर?
हनुमान बेनीवाल तो सामने से और साइड से मैंने पकड़ा पीछे से उसे, 2 का तो मुझे है, पर 6-7 5-6 और आगे थे और उसकी जो पिटाई शुरू करी, पर उधर हम उसको पीट रहे थे और उधर से गैस और धुआं निकलना शुरू हुआ और वो पूरे में गैस धुआं पूरे में हो गया। कोई मुंह ढक करके वहां से लोग फिर बाहर भागने शुरू हुए। फिर सिक्योरिटी वाले आ गए और उन्हें लेके गए। सिक्योरिटी वालों ने पिटाई बहुत की, 2 थे।
तो मलू जी एक और बात बताइए, कितने थे कुल, कितने इंट्रूडर्स पहुंचे थे अंदर? अचानक से पहुंचे थे या किसी सांसद के गेस्ट थे? आए कहां से थे, कुछ अब तक पता चला?
जो बाद में सिक्योरिटी वाले पीट रहे थे, जो उनकी तलाशी लेके निकाला तो किसी साउथ के किसी एमपी का तो बनाया हुआ पास था और सागर एक का नाम था उसमें से, और जो बाद में देखा।
और कोई नारेबाजी लगा रहे थे वो अंदर?
हाँ, शुरू में कि तानाशाही नहीं चलेगी, इस तरह से कुछ बोल रहे थे।
तो आप लोग को समझ में आया कि आखिर किसी पर्टिकुलर संगठन से वो लोग थे या फिर अचानक से आए हुए थे? किसी संगठन का पता चला क्या अभी तक?
हर्षा, उस समय तो ये थी कि आज मर गए हैं, मारते मारते इन्हें जितना पीट सकते हो पीटो, या कोई और हथियार ना निकाले तो इन्हें पकड़ो। इसके अलावा उस समय दिमाग में कुछ आ नहीं रहा था। ये पूछने की बात, जानने की बात तो अब टेलीविजन पे आपके सामने हम ठीक ठाक खड़े हैं इसलिए बात हो रही है। उस समय तो दिमाग ही नहीं काम कर रहा, सिर्फ ये कि गड़बड़ हो गई और ये इन पे कुछ है तो पकड़ लो ताकि वेपन ना चला पाए। ये
मनु जी, उस वक्त कितने सारे मंत्री अंदर मौजूद थे, कुछ आइडिया? क्योंकि लोकसभा की प्रोसीडिंग चल रही है।
ये प्रोसीडिंग्स में उसमें जो कंसर्न, जो 0 आवर में जो लोक महत्व के जो मुद्दे होते हैं तो कंसर्न मिनिस्टर से जो होते हैं तो आकर के बैठ जाते हैं, जाते रहते हैं, आते रहते हैं। वैष्णवी बैठे हुए थे, राजनाथ जी बैठे हुए थे। राजनाथ जी साथ थोड़ी देर पहले चले गए और कई मिनिस्टर बैठे हुए थे और सारे एमपी अंदर थे। सब लोग अपने अपने चीजों को रेज कर रहे थे, इशूज को पूछ रहे थे। 0 आवर चल रहा था।
मनु जी, आज संसद के हमले की एनिवर्सरी भी है। आपको लगता है कोई जानबूझ के डेलिबरेट अटेम्प्ट ये पहले से प्लान किया रहा होगा?
ये तो 100% क्लियर है कि पूरी प्री प्लान्ड तरीके से है, क्योंकि तारीख मैच कर रही है, क्योंकि कूदना दर्शाता है, फिर दूसरे का कूदना दर्शाता है, फिर जहां चल सकते थे उधर को भागना, सीट के ऊपर कर जंप कर रहे थे, उन्हें प्रशिक्षण भी दिया गया है। और जैसे ही जूता उसने निकाला है, और जूता जो निकाला है, जूता निकालने के बाद जो उसने पिन खोली, क्या खोला है, उसके बाद जो गैस और जो धुआं पूरा निकला है, उससे साफ दिखता है कि पूरी प्री प्लानिंग के तहत वो आए थे, तारीख भी चुन करके। और कुछ न
मनोज झा इस वक्त हमारे साथ मौजूद है। मनोज जी, आज लोकसभा में जो देखने को मिला उस पर अपोजिशन का क्या कहना है? क्योंकि 4 बजे लोकसभा स्पीकर ने बुलाया भी है सभी दलों को।
देखिए, महत्वपूर्ण ये नहीं है कि अपोजिशन को क्या कहना है, महत्वपूर्ण ये है कि स्थिति की गंभीरता को समझे। आज हमारे बरसी थी, 22 वर्ष हो गए उस घटना के, जघन्य कांड के, शहीद दिवस। उसके बाद आज ब्रीच होता है इस तरह से, और हम खास तौर पे देख रहे हैं कि इस नई बिल्डिंग में पता नहीं क्या व्यवस्था की गई है। ये बहुत वल्नरेबल बिल्डिंग हो गई है। तो मैं जो अक्सर हम लोग कहते रहते हैं कि सुरक्षा, इस तरह के मसले ये एपिसोडिक नहीं होते हैं। ये आप सिर्फ पार्लियामेंट में खड़े होकर सीना ठोक के बड़ी बड़ी बात कह दो और ये लैप्स होते रहे। मैं समझता हूँ सरकार को बहुत गंभीरता से इस पर विचार करके एक स्टेटमेंट इस पर आना चाहिए।
लोकसभा अध्यक्ष से आप लोग क्या कहेंगे? क्योंकि 4 बजे मीटिंग भी सर नहीं, लेकिन अपोजिशन तो पूरा जाएगा सर, पार्टी को बुलाया है।
पूरा अपोजिशन लोकसभा के सदस्य तय करेंगे। हमने यहाँ अपनी बात जो कहनी थी वो माननीय चेयरमैन साहब से कह दी।
पास कैंसिल होने की कोई बात रखी जाएगी या फिर सांसद को भी, सांसद के अराउंड भी जांच हो, क्योंकि उन्हीं के गेस्ट थे जो बीजेपी एमपी महसूस।
मेरा सीधे मानना है कि अतिरेक की कोई घटना न हो, कि अतिरेक में ये कर दो वो कर दो, ये नहीं। चाक चौबंद व्यवस्था अभी भी बनाई जा सकती है। हम कई वर्ष इसमें रहे। अगर मैं 2001 की उस घटना को छोड़ दूं जो दुर्घटना हुई, उसके बाद मैं बार बार कह रहा हूं कि ये बिल्डिंग सिक्योरिटी के लिहाज से वल्नरेबल लग रही है।
हो गया सर, एक सेकंड खाली खत्म। Well, the investigation still continues. 6 people have already been detained by the Delhi police. Now, this has become a major security concern. The larger picture still yet to emerge. It's a pre-planned conspiracy. All this and much more on the other side of this edition. Slipping into a short break.
difference between India and the difference with the rest of the world economies is huge, because in the case of India, India is growing 6 times faster without that level of increase in debt. India is offering products to the world and services to the world that are more competitive and that are also more added value, and that is one of the most important factors.
Tier 2 cities, smaller towns, having people that independence, financial independence, what are the sort of efforts that you're putting in at Axis Bank?
The wealth in India, I mean defined as people with, let's say, wealth of over 2 crores and above, is expected to grow 5-fold by 2032. The expectation is that a large part of that wealth will be created in the rural markets. So all of us are going and spending a lot of time in some of those markets. Just because you asked about Axis Bank, a couple of years back we actually went and publicly announced to the market that one of the important areas which we want to build as a bank is an area of distinctiveness. We want to be known in the market for being different.
In India, it will take you average 42 months. It will take you 18 months in China. We have to be the innovators. Are we doing that enough?
I did a paper about 18 months ago about the patent system, and we found a lot of process problems. But one of the major things we found is that this is one area where we don't actually have enough people. We have 800 examiners and controllers in our patent office. The Chinese have 13,000. Okay, so I raised this issue. Let me say that we are currently in the process of increasing that number from 800 to 3,000 in the first phase. And the first 500 of those people have already been hired. They are being trained as we speak.
How do you expect us to be innovative when you don't invest in R&D in our universities, when you don't have capital to back people? We need money.
What all is going right? Why are we at all-time highs?
I think broadly I would say we are at a cusp of one of the greatest economic expansions of this country.
Which is the next two-wheeler or IT services sector that's emerging that all of us can benefit by investing in?
Today market cap is $4 trillion. Our wealth is component of that. By end of our Amrit Kal, will we have market cap of 35, 40, 45 trillion? It's possible.